What's up, everybody? Psych Out back here with another Castle Crush video from the Vampire Tournament. This is a Master Tournament victory video. Let's see. Let's go collect our prizes first, and then I will show you the deck. We'll see where we're at in the standings. This is a different deck from what I've been using. Okay. 10 angels, that's cool. I just upgraded angel and yet another dark angel. Seriously, all I've won in this tournament for legendaries, pretty much dark angels. Unbelievable. Okay, not a lot to get excited about here. All right, great. Okay, so let's go take a look and see where we're at in terms of the standings. Wow, Romaine is way up there. I am now 14th. So, yeah. So we got a little ways to go if we want to get into the top 10. But anyway, maybe we'll try for that later. Okay, so let's take a look at the. Well, I can show you the deck here. That'll maybe. Oh no, I can't show it there. All right, so I'll just show you here in match history. So we won 10 straight. This is the deck I was playing with. The idea I got from Zagui, Z-G-U-I, that player. He was playing a deck like this, and you saw he was doing pretty well in the tournament, except I took out, he was playing the Dark Angel. I replaced the Dark Angel with the Shaman. And this deck worked pretty well. And the big thing is that, the Angel is very strong right now. So lots of people are playing Angel. The other thing that we see is lots of Reaper decks. And the Double Wind, the Shock, a few other cards in here do help pretty well with the Reaper decks, and then everything else is kind of deal with skeletons. And you use Freeze to deal with power decks, and the Angel to keep your cards healed up, and then and the Dragon if you need to. So let's watch these. This video will take a little while because some of these matches actually took a while. So this is a first round match against Lord Dirty. He's a pretty tough player. And you'll see he was actually playing a similar deck. In this case, it is the sort of the Zagui version of it with the Dark Angel. So I debated there. I thought about playing the Phoenix, but then I went with the Shock. In retrospect, I sort of wish I had played the Phoenix, but I didn't want him to get a card out that would keep me from getting to the to what he had there. So yeah. Okay, so this is no big deal. We're just going to push back, and you'll see that this strategy, this sequence happens a whole lot with this deck. Yeah, so there I'm actually going to I think I just let it die. Yep, there we go, and got my Hollow Knight out front. Now I'm going to freeze it. And we'll play the Shaman in the bottom lane. So we both have a lot going on here. Okay, so there we go. We want to get the Jester out in front of the Shaman so we can do some work. Yep, and now I've used my freeze in the middle lane. He pushes back. So it's been a pretty tough game so far. There's another freeze for me. I decided to play the Angel there in the middle lane. Could have played it in the bottom lane, but I think it made a little more sense to go there. Now we're finally, after all this work, going to get rid of that egg. Yeah, so you can see the power of the Angel here. The Angel sort of keeping everything alive for us. Same for my opponent, of course. And now I'm going to get my own Angel going in that bottom lane. There's the freeze. You've got to be ready with the wind when they freeze. And that's kind of how this deck works. Whenever you're under threat, you just kind of, oh, there we go, we just back it up. And so notice that this match, no one has done any damage. We're both getting lots of creatures there. I played the Dragon because I wanted my Phoenix to do a lot of work, which my Phoenix did. Unfortunately, I haven't quite killed that Dragon yet. I got one shot off with the, and that's the difference in the Shaman there. The difference in my deck and his deck is that I have a Shaman where he has where he's got, and here you can use the Shock to kill the Angel. It wasn't really necessary, but you can. And now you'll just see it just ends really quickly. He could push back if he wants, but there's really no saving this game. So in his deck, he's got a Shock, or sorry, the Dark Angel, where I have Shaman, and then he must have something else where I have Shock. He must not have Shock. No, he did have Shock. So that's the only difference between our decks. Oh, he has the... yeah, I see. So he has the Mud Elemental. Oh, that's the card that makes a big difference there, is the Black Witch. So I have a Black Witch to deal with big threats like what you saw me having, and then he did not. So so that was round one. Round two against No Name, a really tough player from the cobbled together clan, the Omega Project. Played No Name a whole bunch. He usually plays these what I call reoccurring nightmare decks, which is basically lots of skeletons powered up by a Skull Queen, and then you just resurrect them like crazy. Here I get a pretty good start against it with getting the cards you really want against skeletons, the Jester and the Phoenix. Yeah, that's what he wants to do, is get out that, and I want to get my Angel. Okay, I guess I played it there with the Vampire. I guess that kind of makes sense. And here I just push back because I don't want his cards getting attacking my castle too much. And yeah, a lot of things I could have done here, and I don't know if I really played it the best. But yeah. Didn't get a wind up in the top lane fast enough. But anyway, the point there was I just wanted to get rid of that Skull Queen because that's what makes that deck go. Okay, so now we've got some problems in the top lane. Decided to push back. And that was the reason why I didn't want something to start right where my Shaman was. So now my Shaman's got a blocker and it's got an Angel for some protection. Here you've got to use the Shock on that Archer Queen. Got to deal with these skeletons, so we're going to freeze. And, you know, you'll see that it gets pretty close here. Yeah. Yeah. Almost lose the... yeah, almost lose my Hollow Knight there. So back everything up with the Dragon. Another Shock for that Angel. Wind to keep stuff off my castle. Again, freezing to just slow things down. And we're hanging in there. You know, we've got the big threat, obviously, but man, he's got a lot of stuff coming. So we're just in time. So the wind and the freeze is what we use to just slow him down. Yep. So that was round two. So the first two rounds are pretty tough. Round three also against Beto, another tough player, but in this case, Beto. Using kind of a funky Reaper deck. It's a Reaper deck that mostly relies on Standard Bearer and Rage, not so much the Reaper. It has a lot of ways to win, but to me, I think it really needs more Angels. So here I go ahead and face the Angel up against that, figuring I'll probably draw a card I could use against it. And I do draw the Jester, which I decided to just go ahead and use in the middle lane. I do have some wins here, and I'm looking at my Black Witch going, okay, I'm probably going to need to use that Black Witch at some point. All right, so again, I'm expecting some Standard Bearers here, but we haven't seen anything yet. So he freezes. I freeze back because I would really like to get that. That Hollow Knight. Everything he's got in this lane is really strong, but it's all going to go away when the Black Witch takes care of it. And once I've done that, I will push back his Black Witch. And here comes the Reaper. And there's the Standard Bearer, so he's probably regretting that he didn't get the Standard Bearer yet. And I got my Shock just in time. So, yeah, not a lot he could do at this point. It's a pretty decent setup in the top lane. I just push back because I don't really care for dealing with it. I think ultimately what we find out here is that his deck only has one Standard Bearer in it, and now in the top lane I'm just gonna sack everything. The middle lane we're all frozen up, but I can push back, which I do. Then I drop a dragon in. And I decided to go ahead and shock those. Or I wanted to kill the one angel that was there. I ended up killing only one. Another one showed up, but yeah. So yeah, I mean he hasn't really had much of a chance this match. It's just sort of been a matter of time situation, and there it was. So there we go. That was round 3. So the first 3 rounds really pretty tough. Round 4 against another Omega Project person monster, another tough opponent. So first 4 rounds all really tough. In this case, it's playing a pretty aggressive deck, I would say. Like it tries to go for a kill pretty quickly. And this deck can do okay against those as long as you get your cards out right. So here I go for the angel, and I think I play yeah, there we go. Yep, that makes sense. I like to play the Phoenix there because the Phoenix, because the Phoenix, it's hard for them to use things like Inferno on your angel when you've got a Phoenix there, because then they won't kill your Phoenix. It'll just get stronger. So. Yeah, so we're in good shape here. Get ready. Come on, wind. There we go. And yep. So everything looks pretty good. I'm going to get a big Phoenix. I've got a Shaman out. Shaman's a really good card in the tournament, I think. And I'm sort of waiting to see what my opponent wants to do. Yeah, I don't think this really made sense, but I was kind of going, well, what am I going to do here? I got all these cards, and I don't know what to do with them, and I'm really saving. Okay, yeah. Played the wind first, but wow, that worked out really well because then he shocked my. Well, I guess he ended up killing it anyway. So he had a lot of options there. But anyway, yeah. So mostly this game has been about my Shaman doing a lot of damage up in the top. He couldn't really do a lot about it. So there we go. And I think at some point here we both start getting our dragons out. I'm prepared to save that Phoenix again. Unfortunately, he played that dragon right when I was doing what I was doing there. So, yeah, and I just push back. And you'll see that this is a common theme here: is the pushing back with your dragon. So my plan here is to sack that middle lane. Yep, and that's exactly what I do. Yeah. Fortunately, he has a shock ready and puts a stop to that. But I am going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to the dragon. And I don't know why I didn't freeze there. I think I was trying to save that egg, and that was probably a big mistake. But the good news is you're not really totally lost in this game because you can draw these wins. And I've got something nice going in the bottom lane, the dragon with the angel behind it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here I'm just sort of waiting it out. I mean, I know it's a tough opponent. I'm not in a hurry to play anything too fast and get myself in a spot where I can get in a lot of trouble. So I'm playing pretty defensively. That's a card I really would like. There's the shock because, yeah, we need to freeze that bottom lane. There we go. And that's another great thing about the Shaman is it protects against the demon there. And here you'll see how you win the game. You go shock, and he's too slow with his shock. And that's going to be the game. Yep. Yep, so the shock against the decks like that, you want to save it for the Black Witch. So another tough opponent, tough match. I mean, let's look at the trophy count here. I mean, high trophies of 6943. Beto's high trophies 6947, No Name's high trophies 7068, Lord Dirty's high trophies 7002. So 3 really high rated opponents, and then round 4, this opponent I didn't recognize, but still has the high trophies up in the 6600s. So this is round 5. This was a pretty brutal first set of rounds. Now you see here my opponent gets out the Skull Queen very quickly, but unfortunately for him, he does not have any skeletons to play with it. So I go ahead and play the Angel just so I can play something. And I decide here to play the Phoenix up against the Skull Queen. You might think, well, that seems crazy. But the idea is here is that if he plays a bunch of, if I play the Hollow Knight, he will just play a bunch of skeletons. And I need the Phoenix and the Hollow Knight to work together because they need to just, the Phoenix will help destroy all the skeletons. And now I've got a nice setup here. Now my Angel in the middle lane, there's really nothing. I'm just not going to worry about that because that's, it's not going to be a concern here. I've always got wind in my hand if I need to push something back. Here I probably didn't even need to use that freeze. It was probably pretty wasted. I push back just to keep my opponent from having any ground. Here comes the vampire. That's just going to pair up with the angel nicely. And again, we've got the Phoenix doing area damage. And then I get the Jester to deal with that top lane. And even with the Boneyard, I mean, I can always push back and reset things, but there's no need to do that because we've got them on the ropes. So a little fortunate my opponent didn't get a better draw. So round 6 against Barnes. Again, another tough player. High trophy count of over 7,000. He's playing yeah. What is he playing? Some kind of a, it's like a Reaper deck that's not really a Reaper deck. Yeah. So it's, luckily for me there, I got the shock. So it's more like an angel, it's like an angel deck with, well, it's kind of like, what was it, Sir Adam's deck or whatever it was there. Now that was unfortunate for him. He pushed everything back in a bad way for him there, and yeah, that's not good. Okay, so he goes there. I decided to go ahead and go with the Shaman and just try to kill everything in that lane. He switches lanes, which actually helps me in this case. And I'm ready with the wind, because I knew eventually he's going to bring a vampire. And then there's his angel. So I'm going to face up with my own vampire and angel, and he plays a wind, which is a good move. Now, what to do with the middle lane? I'm already stronger in the bottom lane, so I just said, well, let's just get rid of the middle lane. There's really nothing much he's going to be able to do in the top or in the bottom lane. So he does switch lanes again. I've got another vampire. Yes, he's got multiple angels, and it's looking strong and everything. And I've got some stuff back here, but ultimately I can also just sack everything, throw down the Jester, smash the skeletons. He's given me another Hollow Knight, and I'm sitting on sitting on the dragons, and I can just bring them back. And yeah, can switch lanes, but the dragon died earlier, so yeah, just not a lot he can do. And I get another dragon, which ends up killing everything in that lane. Or the Shaman kills everything in the top lane, and I think at some point he finally just decides to give up here. I played the shock just because, why not? The game is over. There's literally nothing he can do, and I think he finally just decides to give it up here. Yep. But that game had actually been over for a while. So, okay, that was round 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was round 6. Round 7. Okay, finally I got a break in terms of opponents. This Aztec Warrior. No idea who this opponent is. It's probably pretty new player. Not playing a very strong deck. Probably doesn't have all the cards. Does play Statue there, which I guess is fine. Usually when they do something like that, I assume they're playing a Reaper deck. Here I decide I want to go get that Pirate. The Pirate seems like to me is very strong in these. Yeah, that was a good move by him to play it like that. So I play the shock just to get rid of this Pirate and get rid of this whole stack he's got going. So yeah, and then I add more, and that didn't really make any sense to play the Statue there because I do have a Jester that's coming after it. Here I'd really like to get an Angel. There's the Angel to heal everything up, and there we go. And I'm going to push back here because I don't want my Shaman to die to a bunch of archers. And then he gets an Archer Queen, but unfortunately I'm doing a lot of area damage there. And pushing back doesn't help much because I've got the angel with him. I just use the Black Witch in the top lane because those archers were powered up by that archer queen, and I don't really want to deal with that, so here we go. And now, yeah, now there's not a lot my opponent can do. I guess he did somehow kill that, kill my Black Witch up there, but now he's back up against the wall. And I think we get out a third angel here, which is kind of fun. So there we go. Kind of the same thing in all three lanes, angels and area damage. Yep. And yep, they end pretty quickly. So that was round 6, I think. 10, 9, 8. Oh no, that was round 7. Yeah, pretty new player. Doesn't have all the cards. Round 8, I think, was also against a pretty new player. Yep, so I got pretty lucky here. Also not with all the cards. And so not necessarily playing the strongest deck. Probably doesn't have a lot of the legendaries. You know, I feel for players like this that are playing in the tournament. It's pretty hard, I think, to win without the legendaries. I mean, even Reaper decks nowadays are... it used to be you could play competitively in the tournament and win without any legendaries, but even Reaper decks now use legendaries like Skull Queen or Vampire. Yeah, so it's pretty hard. And this opponent also has probably never seen a Phoenix because he just played a Skeleton Swarm right into a Phoenix, which makes no sense. And then he played a Reaper there, which also doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I felt pretty bad for my opponent here because he or she just doesn't know how this works yet. I play the shock there just to keep things going. I could have let it die, the Phoenix die, and brought it back, but I didn't see any reason to do that. And yeah, not a lot they can do here. Okay, so that's round 8. Round 9 against V, another tough opponent. You can see he's playing a very similar deck. 2 winds, 2 ices or blizzards. Only 1 angel versus my 2 angels. He's got a Jester, I have a Jester. We each have shock. We pretty much have the same card, the exact same deck. The only difference is he's playing the Executioner while I'm playing 2 angels. And I think we've played a couple of matches already. I think I beat him one time, but it's possible that he beat me one time too, and I'm misremembering. So yeah, and neither of us were too thrilled to see each other. This is round 9. You know, after coming off with 2 lower rated opponents. And I knew he was playing a similar deck, but I couldn't remember exactly what the difference was between the two. So here, my plan is for my Phoenix to die, and then to freeze. There we go. So I can get a bigger Phoenix. I kill his angel here. He freezes, and that ultimately kills my angel. But I've got another one coming, and you'll see that this game plays like one of the first games we played, where there's a lot of pushing back and forth, back and forth. So here we go again. Yep. More pushing back. Unfortunately, I got my Vampire out there right when he played a wind, so it wasn't great. He used the shock there, which kind of makes sense, but on the other hand, it might have made more sense to use it on the angel. So there's my second freeze, and now we're going to start grabbing control of this lane. Okay, he lets the egg die, which makes sense. And this is the difference right here is, and really the difference in the game is my Shaman is up there doing work with the Jester. We both freeze again. Probably should have played that angel a little further back so it wouldn't have died so quickly. And there it died. And yeah, did I push back there? I think, yeah, I pushed back there. Or maybe, I don't know which one. And so, yeah, at this point, I'm in pretty good shape. There's a lot of pushing back, and yeah, you can see that what really happened in this game is I got big Phoenixes, and There's just not a lot he could do about it. And the other thing that you'll see is, here he should probably try to sack everything, but he doesn't. I mean, it's true, he did get all the Hollow Knights there and everything, but yeah, he tried to kill everything there, but unfortunately I had the shock. And yeah, and my Phoenixes just keep getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, that bottom lane is just crazy. And again, he's going to get everything back there. And once again, this time he did better. He played the shock at a better time. But yeah, but I still got to keep most of my stuff. And look at those two Phoenixes right next to each other, just so strong. So, yep, pretty good game. I think I just got off to a better start, and he really couldn't do anything about it. And then the 10th round was against Bandicoot, a Reaper player. This deck does pretty well against Reaper decks. If you get a decent starting hand. I don't think my starting hand was that great here. But there we did get the Phoenix, which again I want to keep alive, so I'm gonna keep my Angel alive too and play it all down here. Probably should go for a standard bearer move here, and I think he does. And I'm a little late with my freeze. Yep. So we push back. You just can't let him do too much damage. And I could have allowed the Phoenix to die maybe and then push back. And there I get my shock, which is just what I need. Phoenix kills all the skeletons. Vampire gonna protect us a little bit here, and I think he's got the rage, but I don't remember if the rage does the rage do enough. Yeah. Oh, he froze me. Yeah, that was the issue. So we got to push back. He plays a protection, and at this point now I'm feeling pretty comfortable. The game is pretty much in hand. Not a lot he can do, and that playing the Reaper there doesn't make any sense. I'm going to get the Angel out to protect my, to protect the Hollow Knight from things like that. I play a second Angel to protect the other Angel, which is kind of funny. But at this point, yeah, the game was over. And we got ourselves a Master Tournament win. So, yeah, a different deck from what we've played before. But pretty cool deck, fun to play. It's kind of interesting. We have all of our cards cost 6 mana or less, except for the Dragon, which costs 12. And it's a deck you have to be really patient with, and you're constantly sort of pushing back to protect your cards or protect your castle until eventually you've built large stacks that overwhelm your opponent. Okay, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.